Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. We're happy to be back. I'm Laura.
I'm John.
And this is a little life update. So if you're new to our channel, you might want to skip to something else because we're just telling you where we've been in this video. It feels like it's been a while since we've sat at this table and filmed, so it feels good and a little bit strange to be back at it today. So new food videos, if you're from the food channel, lots of those going up this week, and we've been filming for the game channel too. So
yep. As far as this channel goes, we've been, what we're going to talk about, we've been on a couple of different trips to some concerts, and a lot of life has happened.
Yeah.
So we're going to catch you up, but those vlogs are going to come out.
Yeah, so we're just going to give you bullet points here. All right, so going back to beginning of August, John surprised me. We had been talking about going to a big concert. Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks were playing together, and I mean, they're two huge powerhouses. I had never seen Billy Joel, neither had you.
No.
We had seen Stevie before with Fleetwood Mac, but this was a different show. And it was something special to do for our anniversary. So we did that. We will talk a little bit in that vlog how that went. But that was in Kansas City, so that was about 5-hour trip.
And that was right around August 19th.
Okay,
so,
day before our anniversary.
Yeah.
We took Rookie with us, and we were gone for 2 nights.
Yeah,
right?
just like the weekend.
Yeah. So we went out to dinner for our anniversary. We had fondue. We put up a little short of that. That was really fun. And as luck would have it, or unluck would have it, it was probably the actual hottest day of the entire summer.
Yeah.
It was 114 degrees outside, and that is not including heat index.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
by the time we got in our seat, it was an outdoor concert at a stadium, and by the time we got to our seat, it was hot.
Yeah, so think about that. Not only is it 114 degrees outside, but we were in a big stadium and we were on the floor. So there's absolutely no shade, no shadows, nothing to block us, and a million other people to keep us warm. So that was a little bit of a struggle. We'll tell you more about that in an upcoming video. But the concert was amazing, and we had a great time, and the trip back was uneventful.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
So I gave Laura about a week's notice before that concert, and that was the surprise because of our anniversary. But she wouldn't like, last minute type thing, like, hey, get your stuff, let's go.
Yeah,
so I thought a week was pretty good.
I needed a little bit of notice. When you have ADHD, the packing and the lists and whatever, so to be surprised last minute, that's too much for me. But anyway, but I didn't have any anxiety about that or anything. No. It was fine. So, but the thing that I didn't like is we came back and we didn't even have an entire week before we had to leave. I say had to leave, but we were leaving for a scheduled, our planned vacation. It just so happens they weren't even a week apart. Right. They were, 4 or 5 days apart.
We left, so we had the weekend in Kansas City. We got back on Sunday. I went to work on Monday, and then we left on Friday again for Colorado.
So, yeah, and that had been planned. We were going to Red Rocks to see Duran Duran, and we'll get there in a second. But prior to leaving, I had an episode, and I had a seizure, which was really scary. And it came out of nowhere. I had a panic attack, and I think that's what brought it on. However, we did end up getting sick, and I've also seen places that it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that seizures go hand in hand for some people with COVID. So I don't know what caused that, but it was very scary.
Yeah, it was.
But I ended up being fine, and we racked it up to just being, it sounded like it was just brought on by this panic attack. If you remember, if you've been around, when we went to get married in Colorado, the last time we went, there was an episode where I got dehydrated and overheated.
And panicked.
And panicked, yep. And I had to see paramedics during that trip. And I think, and we haven't been back to Colorado since, and I feel like I had just had an incident the weekend before when we went to that concert in the heat. I was really struggling. And I feel like because that had just happened and we were going to Colorado again and it was hot and I had an incident there with altitude and I knew that we were going to be at a concert again and outside, I think that's what brought on the panic attack. And it's the worst panic attack I remember having, which brought on a seizure. So we still went on our vacation and because, and we probably wouldn't have if the vacation was to Disney and we're going to Universal and we're going here, there, and this bus trip and we're going out drinking and we're doing this. We were just going to a cabin and just having some quiet, peaceful enjoyment of the cabin in nature. And so that was more restful than anything I would be doing at home. So we went.
And the cabin was wonderful. It was in Bailey, Colorado, and there wasn't a whole lot around there, so we just stayed at the cabin really the whole time until day of the concert.
We did. There was an episode while we were there where we both got sick, and we thought it was the sandwich that we ate because we both kind of had this moment where we were like, does the lettuce taste bad on the sandwich?
It didn't look good. I can tell you the lettuce didn't look good on it.
And as soon as I voiced that to John, he got sick, and then I got sick.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I'm saying is we don't really know where in this we actually got sick and what part of this was, was it the sandwich? Where were we starting to get sick? We don't know.
Right.
But after the next day and everything, we felt fine. We hung around in the cabin. It rained. We played games. It was super relaxing.
Very peaceful. We saw some wildlife out there.
We saw deer every day. We went live. Some of you might have joined us when we went live. We went shopping a little bit. John grilled for us while we were there, and it was just nice and relaxing. The concert was amazing. I can't tell you. But before the concert, let's talk a little bit about, John had done some research and we knew that parking at Red Rocks was going to be an issue. So we planned ahead. We were there very early. We sat out and I wasn't having that much anxiety while we were sitting there because I couldn't see where we had to go. It was blocked by the Red Rocks.
If you've never been to Red Rocks before, there is a ramp that goes up. It's like a 45-degree angle almost, and you have to walk that ramp in order to get into the venue. And then once you get in, you have to go, you have to go up some stairs to go up to the top of the amphitheater, or, you go down on the first level, but then you have to go up to your seats. And when we got up there, Laura looked at me and was like, where's our seats at? With the altitude and everything.
Yeah, at the top at Red Rocks is 13,000 feet. So we weren't playing around with the elevation. And, I have asthma on top of all this other stuff that we had been going through. So the concert was amazing. Bastille opened.
I didn't even know that there were other bands that were going to be there. I thought it was just going to be Duran Duran, and then there were two other bands that were there, and Bastille opened for them. And
from the UK.
And I was like, Bastille. And then they started playing these songs, and I was like, I know the words of these songs.
Yeah.
I know this song. I listen to them all the time.
That was great. There was a DJ when we first got there.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, and she was enjoying herself, having a good time. And then Bastille, and then Nile Rodgers and Chic. And if you don't know who that is, they are a funk group from the 70s. Remember the song La Freak? That's them. But because Nile Rodgers is a songwriter, he's written so many amazing songs for Diana Ross and Madonna, David Bowie, which was my favorite part of the show. They just went on and on and on. Whitney Houston, all these amazing songs. It was a dance party, and we went from Bastille to Chic to Duran Duran,
Yep.
which they were amazing. But I can't remember a time where honestly I was like, I don't know if I ever want the opening acts to end. They were so good.
They were really good. Bastille was awesome.
Yeah. So, and of course we'll tell you more and we'll show you clips in those vlogs. So Duran Duran was everything that I had hoped it would be. Red Rocks was beautiful. The weather was perfect that day. I'm so glad we went. I don't know how I would go again. I would have to, maybe do some walking ahead of time and not be sick ahead of time, because it really took it out of me. And some people would say, and we had considered Ubering to Red Rocks, but you still have to get up that ramp.
You still have to get, up the ramp. But we got great parking because we got there early. Some of the other lots are like a mile down and you have to hoof it uphill.
Yeah, actually a mile.
You're like,
you can see how far cars are away when you get to the top, and it's crazy how far people had to walk into Red Rocks. So we had a good time. I'm glad that we went.
We took the cab.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So, and he was okay. He had to spend a little bit more time in his kennel this time, just because he's having more issues than he's had before. But he still was pretty good.
Yeah.
On the trip, and he didn't meow and complain, and he just laid down and slept. But we were ready to be home, so I thought we were gonna split this trip up into a couple of drives, and we both got in and said, let's just get home. So we did 12 hours.
Yeah.
On the way back.
Yeah, we got home. It wasn't a bad drive, actually.
No. What we had found out right before we were leaving was that my sister, who has not been home since John and I have been together, she's not been home since my dad passed away, and that changes. She couldn't come home for that funeral, and that changes the dynamic of a family. And she was going to come home for the first time in several years. And so we just kind of used that. We had several projects that we had started, and we said, okay, we're going to use that as a benchmark and say, she's going to be here. Let's finish doing several things.
Yeah, we're going to redo the kitchen.
Yeah, but by redo, he means paint. And we got new appliances. So as soon as we got back, we hit the ground running. We went in and bought appliances, and we got 2 appliances, and we could use one right away.
Yeah, which was the microwave. So we got a gas range. In the gas range, they gave me the wrong kit to install it, the wrong hose and connectors and everything. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't install that. And then the dishwasher that they delivered was entirely the wrong dishwasher. So
after we had an extensive conversation about which one. Are you sure this is the one? You want this one, the one with the handle, right? Yep.
Yeah, wrong one.
Still wrong.
So, we had to start a return on that, and then we had to go back end up going to the store and repurchasing the one that we wanted, so that we could get that sooner, and then they'll come pick up the other one, and we're still working on that, getting that straightened out. So
we have the right dishwasher, but it still is not installed. So we have a big gaping hole for the dishwasher. There's that.
Yeah. And, of course, I'm scrambling. I'm, painting cabinets and cleaning cabinets and taking doors off and that. We're getting everything all ready. And then that's when the COVID hit.
Well, wait. I have to insert one other thing.
All right.
Also, it was the oldest kid's birthday.
Yeah.
It was going to be. And since my sister was going to be home, I have 3 sisters, one that lives near here, one that lives in Wisconsin, about 3 hours away, and then the one in California, which is the one we were talking about. Well, the sister in Wisconsin and the sister in California were both going to be here. So I said, for my son, because all the grandparents are gone and, and aunts and uncles aren't that close, I said, let's have a birthday party while he's here and he can see his aunts and we'll surprise him and he'll hate every minute of it. And let's have a throwback to when he was a kid. And, he turned 32, but we were going to do a pirate birthday party we bought pirate eye patches and earrings, and we had pirate
decorations and food and
games, the whole thing. So we were also planning for that at the same time. We were painting the kitchen, buying new appliances, etc. So there's that. Okay, go ahead.
Where was I now?
Well, how did COVID start?
Oh, well, when we came back, it was kind of strange, okay? The only other time that I've ever had COVID, I had vertigo. Before we left for Colorado, I had vertigo, but then it went away. And when we got back, it was just we both had some weird symptoms.
Well, it was the same way it started last time. John said, I kind of have a tickle in my throat. And then he had the vertigo before. And then the next day, I could barely speak.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened too, because the day before we found out that we were sick, I ate a bunch of hot tamales candies. Okay. And
there's a peek into our regular life. That is real life.
And sometimes when you eat too many of those things, it'll like burn your tongue or whatever, like sour stuff. And so the next day, my tongue really hurt, and then I continue working on this kitchen. I'm still renovating the kitchen, painting kitchen doors and all, cabinet doors.
Yeah, because you didn't know you were sick. You just thought you had caused, how when you eat things like too many Sour Patch Kids or whatever, your taste buds get all angry. I think that's what you thought, right?
And then later on that day, it was probably 4 p.m. or something. I was like, man, I really have a sore throat. It was horrible. It was bad. But the odd thing was, by a couple hours later, it was gone. Mm-hmm. I thought, oh, that's fine.
But then I started getting a headache at night. And we went to bed, and John went to work, and because we'd been gone, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think we made this clear. When we got back, when we were doing the appliances and stuff, we had a couple of extra days on John's vacation, so we're like, perfect, we've got 2 or 3 days, let's try to get a million things done. We bit off way more than we could chew, especially with the appliances being wrong and whatever. So anyway, he went to work the next morning, and I woke up at, I don't know, maybe 9 or 9:30, and I felt like garbage. My head felt like it was in a vice. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I remember having a headache like this one time, and it was when we had COVID.
Yeah.
And I felt like trash. I was shaky. I was hot, where you get sweaty on the back of your neck and stuff. And so we had some COVID tests, and I went to take it, but I couldn't see anything. I felt so horrible. I'm flipping through all the paperwork. I couldn't find the directions in English.
It's all in Spanish, yeah.
Yeah, and John texted me to see how things were going, or say good morning or whatever, and I was like, I'm trying to take a COVID test. And I think that's when it kind of dawned on him, oh.
Yeah, so I got home and helped her with the COVID test, and guess what? She had it. Mm-hmm. And then, I felt, I had a little bit of symptoms, but otherwise I felt fine. I continued working on the kitchen and everything like that. And
that day.
Yeah, that day I, stayed home from work the rest of the time since I had contact with Laura, and she tested positive, and I assumed I'm probably going to test positive, but not that day. Mm-hmm. And,
John just went back to normal, and I was in bed with a washcloth, no lights on, no TV on, nothing, just laid there. I was in misery.
Yeah, and so that was basically the Thursday after September 1st. So September 1st was on I don't know when it was. Anyways, basically, turns out I worked on the kitchen having COVID and felt miserable for a while, but not that horrible. And then after almost a whole week went by, all of a sudden I feel like garbage, again, it was, then I felt bad. I couldn't do anything.
That's what I have heard about this variant, is that you have some good days and some setbacks. You might, say, hey, I'm better, I'm fine, and then have a couple of bad days. So,
I figured it was really bad when I just basically slept all day. Like all day.
All day, yeah. So the day after I tested positive, my sister from California called, and that's when she was supposed to be flying here, was that day. And of course I was upset about that because I thought, well, they're older. I'm the baby and she's the oldest sister. And she has a husband who has some compromised, health issues and whatever. And so I knew that I wouldn't be able to see her. But when she called for what I thought was her, checking, like saying, hey, we're going to be leaving on my flight or whatever, she was calling to tell me they had both tested positive for COVID.
Wow.
So they didn't come. So I feel like I had 3 really, really, really bad days and mostly just not a lot of energy. Those 3 really bad days were fever, the head pain that you can't imagine, and I also passed out. Like fainted, boom, on the ground.
Yeah, that's scary.
The last time that happened is when I had COVID too.
Mm-hmm.
John had to come get me off the floor. I just got shaky, sweaty, and guess what? My fever broke then.
Yeah.
It's so weird, so strange. So we canceled the party and we stayed home.
Kitchen is still a mess.
Yeah, we're still working on it. We still don't have a dishwasher. The stove is in and great. The microwave is in and great. We also got a new sectional, like during the appliance time. That's where it needs to be and is fine. So we've had a lot of life. We've got a lot of things we need to catch up on too around here. But that's why there was an interruption in filming between vacation and not having good Wi-Fi and being on the road and then being sick and being so busy and whatever. That's where we've been. What have you been up to? Let us know in the comments, because I would say we had been really, really, really careful, and I don't know if my seizure was related. I don't think it was. Honestly, it could have been, and I've heard that a couple of times, that people have had seizures with COVID, but I feel like the timing of it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any symptoms from then until we ate the sandwich, which I really do think it was the lettuce. Because we had no other symptoms. Right?
Yeah.
I think it was that sandwich. Then we were fine until we weren't. So I don't think we were out super spreading everywhere.
Yeah.
So have you had it again recently? I feel like this time was less scary than the first time because we'd had it before and I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, are we going to have to go to the hospital? But considering I had a seizure and considering the fact that I fainted and fell all the way down and considering the fact that I have asthma, that's always a concern for me. I'm always concerned when John can't push through, because normally John's the kind of guy that if he has a headache or he doesn't feel quite right, he can push through it. But he was really sick this time, so that was a little scary. Not scary like go to the hospital scary, but I don't like seeing him sick.
Yeah, I don't like seeing her sick.
Yeah, so anyway, that's our update. Hopefully we will have everything. We have to call. We couldn't call and have somebody come in and install the dishwasher and stuff while we're sick with COVID. So hopefully we can get that all taken care of. But now there's no deadline because my sister isn't coming. So whenever we get it done, we get it done. We got to make up the little party for my son. And it was a surprise. So I don't know. We'll do that again.
We're disappointed about that, for sure.
Yeah. Sometime in the future, we'll see him and surprise him. But anyway, thanks for all your love and support. We've been going through it lately. Don't forget to come to the comments and leave a comment. That really helps our channel. A thumbs up, all the things. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.